Welcome to this fourth episode of Parents, the First Role Models. I'm Naganand, your host, and I'm a student and a parenting coach and also a teen career guide. Today on the show, we have Niveditha, who is studying in her 12th. Niveditha loves to read and write. She is also planning to pursue her career in law. Welcome, Niveditha, on the show. And
Thank you
you
so much,
can
sir.
you can perhaps give a brief introduction about yourself, just a small brief, which what I have
Sure.
not shared.
Yeah, this is pretty much it. I feel like in 12th grade, a lot of our identity is just connected to what we want to do, our career or something. But apart from that, like I really love music and I want to try to maybe bring a small little change in the world in any way that I can. And that's basically just my motivation. So that's all.
Great to hear that, Nivedita. So, uh, what is that one thing which comes to your mind when you hear the word parenting or parent?
So I think for me, a parent, like the first thing that comes to my mind is unconditional love and support. Because, for example, I could have a fight with my friend and stop talking to my friend, or maybe like my boss could fire me and never have to think about me again. But I would never expect that of my parents because they are a constant presence in my life, and I feel like a parent would be there from the minute a child is born till the very end, and just being there and showing up is, I think, all a parent needs to do, and that is the definition I can think of.
Okay, and would you like to share some experiences about your parents and you?
um I am a little bit of an introvert, so my social circle doesn't extend to a lot of people outside my family. So and I used to feel a little bad about that, but later on I kind of realized that like I personally in my life I don't have a lot of time for a lot of people, and as long as you have a few people you can really rely on and you know will support you forever, for me those are my parents. I've had a lot of troubles with friends and teachers and everyone else in my life, but my parents were always there for me, and I realized that they were all I needed. So for me, parents are and family is the most important thing. So yeah.
That's wonderful to hear. And what do you think about parents being the first role models? What's your thought on that?
I think it's very real. I actually am studying psychology in 11th and 12th. So we've already learned that from babies are able to identify their parents from basically almost from when they've been born, and we know that children model the people, the caretakers that they're closest to, and being attached to your caretakers and everything is very important. And I personally myself have learned a lot from my parents just by watching them, seeing how they react in situations and talk to people, and I'm glad that they have never been hypocritical. Like they have always been genuine, and whatever they want me to see is how they behave. So that's how I learned to be myself and to take after them.
Wonderful, wonderful to hear that. That clearly defines what we are doing also today. So, what do you think children really want from their parents?
Right. So I wouldn't be able to speak from the perspective of children as a whole because each one of us is different. But
Correct.
I think a key element in every parent-child relationship would be for the parent to actually just listen to what their child is trying to tell them. Like I feel like a lot of times parents have this notion that they've been through the same thing their child has been through, and they would also have a sense of responsibility for how their child turns out because you're responsible for their life basically.
Correct.
So I feel like they would try to influence our decisions a little bit, like obviously giving advice and stuff like that. But I feel like it's very important for open communication to be there, and for both sides to listen to each other. And also I think it's really important for parents to actually say it, that see, listen, I may not understand what you're going through, I may not even relate to it, but I want you to know that any kind of help that you need, I'll be there to give it. I'll be there to support you. And actually saying it, like for example, like I understand that a lot of people have different languages. Like some people would show it through their actions, and like a lot of parents I know say that, I don't need to tell them because my child already knows that I love them and support them. But I feel like childhood and adolescence is a time where people get a little insecure. So if a parent actually tells them that, listen, I'm there for you and I'll support you, and that's all a child would really need from their parent, is what I think.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine, especially the point which you made about adolescence, and when you're in your beginning of your teens, there's a lot of change in ourselves, especially in the whole physiology changes, the body
Yeah.
changes, the thought starts changing, and you are cognitive, you start behaving with a lot of cognitive behavior comes in, and that is where exactly when parents needs to be supportive and understandable. So you rightly said that. And is there anything which any experience or any instance which you would like to share, which perhaps can help other parents relate, or even students to relate that, if there is
Mm,
anything?
I Sure. I think that actually, I not for me personally, but a lot of my friends say that, um, the minute I became a teenager or got into adolescence, suddenly my parents feel like they don't know me anymore. Like I'm a totally different person. But I feel like that experience is common to a lot of parents and children. But I think that if parents really pay attention to how their child is growing, they will be able to catch the signs that show them which way their child might turn out. So, like my dad and mom have been like particularly attuned to what I'm doing, and not in a very restrictive way, just in a very observant way, and in a way that like makes me know that if I need help, I can always go to them, and I don't need them hovering around me always. And that way, they've never been surprised. Like even after I passed through adolescence and everything, they always knew that the values that they taught me would never change, and that would remain. So that's all.
Well, that's wonderful. It's very simple. Giving that space for teens and adolescents is also very much important, and you have that with your parents, that support with your parents. That's really great to know. Okay, now your thoughts on how a parent and a child relationship should be.
Right. So I think there are different stages to every child. So I think as a child grows, so does their relationship with their parents. So it's a very
Yes.
dynamic kind of relationship.
True.
So personally, for me, I think that when a child is small, then the one thing they need from their parents is constant encouragement and support, because I feel like instead of having, they need, first of all, parents need to get their child to try out a lot of things.
Yeah.
And instead of giving a lot of importance to doing well in them or winning at them, just placing participation at the highest regard is very important. And I would rather, if I were a parent, I would rather my child be a little overconfident about their abilities than lack self esteem. Because overconfident children will be able to learn and grow, at least they'll be open to trying new things and exposing themselves. But underconfident people who lack self esteem, it's very hard for them to come out of their shell and really grow. So I think in that period, just constant support and encouragement, and getting them to try new things and participate would be very important from a parent side. So that's the first stage, I would say. Then, as the child grows into being an adolescent and an adolescent, basically, I think that a lot of times parents see their child as the same person, but
Yeah.
they're not, because they're
Correct.
changing and they're growing. And it's very important for adolescents to find their own space in the family as an adult. So having parents sort of discuss everything openly, whether it's about family issues or financial issues, anything, and giving them the space to give their opinions about it as an adult in the family is also very important as the relationship grows.
Yes, yes. Your point, right to the point there. Yes, one of my friends says, I look at my child as, as an adult. It's just a little smaller version of me, but he's an adult. And she also says that, there is, I might think from my experience that I know everything, but my child
Right.
knows much better than me. So having that knowledge is very important, and giving that space to share a child's opinion also is. You're right on the point there, Nivedita. And Okay, coming to any suggestions you have to parents, perhaps any instances or any examples that would be really helpful.
Mm, So I don't want to step out of bounds here because like I'm not a parent, but I would say that one thing I've learned from my relationship with my parents is to always value honesty above all else. Like just hypothetically, if for example I went to a bar or something and I drank or something like that, then the first people I would call would be my parents because I know that I'm going to get shouted at, yelled at, grounded even maybe. But I know that my parents would always keep my safety first and my well-being first. So I'd never put myself at risk just to escape the wrath of my parents because honesty has always been a very important component in our relationship. And I feel like just having that open communication would solve a lot of things in a relationship. So honesty, I think.
Yeah, that's really important. That was one of the topic, of my previous video podcast as well. How do you
Right.
nurture and foster honesty with kids? So you're rightly again on that. Now, since we have a little more time, I would like to ask you one more question.
Sure.
You chose a career in law, right?
Mhm.
Now, how has have been your parents, or what kind of directions and support your parents provided to be able to for you to choose your career, with all aspects of, because there are a lot of parents who actually, whom I have come across, where they try to push their thoughts into the child, and they would not even be aware that what the child might want. So
Mhm.
with your experience of you choosing career in law, how supportive and how helpful were your parents in that stage?
So I think, like I mentioned from the beginning, I feel like parents who might not have been attuned to their child growing up would only try to push their motivations on them. Like my parents have always seen me being into reading, writing, speaking, and being really aware of issues and wanting to change them. So it wasn't a big surprise for them when I said I wanted to do law, and neither of them are from a law background, so they don't really know, understand what the specifics of it. But like I said, a parent needn't always just understand it, but always just be there as a supporting figure. So that they've always been. I myself had a few doubts because I am pretty introverted by nature. So I was like, am I going to be able to do something as challenging and outspoken as law is? And then they kind of taught me that being outspoken and good at speaking and stuff is a skill, and as long as you have the motivation to do something in that area, the skills you can always learn. That's the reason you go to law school. So they really helped me through that, and they believed in me even when sometimes I myself wasn't being able to believe in myself. So just that, I think, is a great source of support and motivation for me.
Oh, that's absolutely a great point there. Believing in, most of the parents entrust their thought about children's career because they're not sure whether if they can trust the decision of their child or not. And
Right.
in your perspective, that's absolutely, it was the opposite there. And I'm glad that they were there for you to guide you through that doubts when you had. And
Yeah.
I'm really happy that you're trying to pursue a career which is close to your heart. That's great,
Yeah.
Niveditha. And thank you very much for being on the show. And we would perhaps have some other time a joint session with more students, and
Absolutely.
let's see how it works. And thank you very much again. I will just like to thank all viewers for watching this video. And in case if you have any queries or suggestions with respect to parenting, you can mention it in the comment section below. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any queries or challenges with respect to parenting, send an email to parenting@unique.com. That is parenting@unique.com. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.